30 degrees in North Conway. It's much warmer on the set, and braving the temperatures here is Jeff Leich, Executive Director of the New England Ski Museum. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Nice to be here, Chris.
We're here to talk about a few things. You've got a big event coming up at Cranmore next weekend. It is one of your biggest fundraising events of the year. It is a great time, and it all benefits the New England Ski Museum. What's the Ski Museum all about?
Well, the Ski Museum has been in Franconia Notch State Park since 1982, 30 years, believe it or not, and that's where our main museum is. But where we have exhibits about the history of skiing. We also have satellite exhibits at the Brenton Woods base area, the Intervale Scenic Vista, and actually in the Eastern Slope Inn, where we've just put up a new exhibit on the history of skiing in the Mount Washington Valley.
Very cool. And the Eastern Slope Inn is right in downtown North Conway Village. We just had a winner call from there. Laura, if you're still watching, put your bathrobe on, your slippers, go downstairs and check out the New England Ski Museum exhibit.
You have to wait till 10 o'clock till it opens. But
you just stand by the door so you're first in line. And great history on people. I think a lot of people who come to the Mount Washington Valley don't realize the history of the area. And every area has its history, but the history of the Mount Washington Valley in some ways is the history of skiing in the United States.
Well, that's right. You know, I heard you talking earlier about the Eagle Mountain House, and one of the photos we have up there is, you know, some of the first lessons from the Hannes Schneider Ski School were given on the 9th hole of the Eagle Mountain House golf course.
Wow.
So, Benno Rubisca in 1936-37. So we have photos of that up. It's kind of neat.
Oh, that's very cool. I just cross-country skied down that hill the other day.
Yeah.
I was probably skiing through the ghosts of history.
Skiing through history.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about the Hannes Schneider Meister Cup Race next weekend at Cranmore. What's this all about? How does it work?
It's our 17th annual, if we can believe that.
I can't believe it.
It is our major fundraising event. It honors Hannes Schneider, who was the Austrian ski meister that, you know, most people credit with developing the system that we still use to teach skiing, if not the technique. And it's kind of a little bit sad event because this is the first one we've run without Hannes's son, Herberts Schneider, who passed away last June. Yep. So we're going to honor Herbert with an extensive article in our race program, but we're also bringing over an Austrian historian named Christoph Turney from the Arlberg region of Austria, where Hannes came from and Herbert came from, who's going to talk about the legacy of Herberts Schneider at our Sunday morning ski history talk at the Eastern Slope Inn.
It won't be the same without Herbert for sure. I know every time I went to the Hannes Schneider Meister Cup, you could see Herbert out there. He would be, you know, talking to people, answering questions. Just the most mellow, just kindest, gentlest guy. You would never know his place in history. You know, with some people,
right.
You can tell their place because they have these personas built up, but just the nicest guy.
Yeah, he was. He was a great asset to the whole valley. We're going to miss him. His sons, Hannes and Christoph, will carry on the tradition, of course. And, you know, another aspect of Herbert was that he was a member of the World War II 10th Mountain Division. And we still are going to have some World War II veterans there. You know, 3 or 4 will be there. One, Dick Calvert from Wolfboro, will be skiing. Probably most of the others will be spectating. And there'll be teams from 3 different military skiing units, the current 10th Mountain Division, and 2 from the Vermont National Guard, mountain trained soldiers.
We're looking at some footage from a previous year's race. Now, the main part of the event is a dual slalom downhill race. Tell us about this. How does it work? Can people get teams together?
Absolutely. The course is similar to Mountain Meisters. It's a dual slalom on very gentle terrain. Teams of 5 race. It's a team race. So if you get together a team of 5 and call the ski museum or register by the event, you can enter it. You can also enter it as an individual. Okay. And then we'll put you on a team. We think it's a very reasonable price of $75 per person. Which gets you a lift ticket and food from Friday night till Sunday morning, and the event. And
so included in the event, you get to race. You also get a lift ticket, so you can continue to ski after the racing.
Right.
You get food. There's entertainment going on. What kind of stuff?
Oh, there's just all kinds of things going on. There's an ice carving contest. There is a silent auction. People wear their vintage clothing. Here in Hans talking about he's going to be there.
Our director this morning.
In his lederhosen. There is Saturday afternoon the return of the much lamented Bavarian Brothers Band, who retired 4 or 5 years ago, and this is their first gig coming out of retirement.
There was an outpouring of grief. They heard it, and they've come back.
The Bavarian Brothers groupies were devastated, and now they'll be back with us.
We just saw some clips of some old footage from, I believe, from Austria. To put things in perspective, Hannes Schneider, who this race is commemorates, coming over to the U.S., coming over to Cranmore would be like, drafting Michael Jordan, in his prime.
Exactly. He was the skiing industry. He had invented the ski resort, the mountain resort industry in St. Anton. Not just the whole aspect of teaching skiing, but people, it raised the economic level of the whole town in a way that we see in ski resorts today.
And on your screen right now is Herberts Schneider, who again sadly passed away this past year, and this will be our first race without him, but he will be remembered and honored during this race. So once again, if people want to get involved, what do they need to do?
You can call the Ski Museum at 800-639-4181, go online to skimuseum.org, or pick up a brochure in the Eastern Slope Inn at Cranmore, or at Cranmore, and register for the race, or just come out and enjoy the events. There's put on your vintage ski wear, come out and be around. You might win a prize. The
snow always seems to be deep. The sun always seems to be out, and it always seems to be warm at the Hannes Schneider Meister Cup race. Anything else you want to get out there before we say goodbye?
Just hope to see you there.
And of course, you can actually visit the New England Ski Museum in person at the base of Cranmore Mountain in Franconia Notch. We were just talking off air about some of the things you have there, including Bodie Miller's medals, which apparently his mom gave you.
Right, the 5 Olympic medals that he's won to date. Who knows if he'll be in the Olympics next year? Are on display. Including the complete run of bronze, silver, and gold from Vancouver. And at some point soon, we think we're going to be getting some of his World Cup globes on display as well.
And I love the fact that it's his mom who's giving it to you. She's like, oh, he doesn't need these stinky things. Just take them.
Well,
his womb is so cluttered.
He's out in California most of the time. But of course, he did grow up in Franconia, Easton, so he's a local boy, and that's our connection with him.
All right, Jeff Leich from the New England Ski Museum, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we're going to put a team together. We'll see you next week at Cranmore. We'll be right back with